All right, folks. Well, we will go ahead and get started. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Amy, and I'm a member of the training team here at ServiceTitan. And before we go any further, I just want to make sure that everyone is able to hear me well and also see my screen. You should see the ServiceTitan logo. So if you can do both of those things, could you please raise your hand? Go ahead and raise your hand if you can hear me and see my screen. If you're able to hear and see my screen, go ahead and raise your hand. Excellent. Thank you so much for doing that. Glad everyone is connected well. Now, this is a live webinar, as you all know, so please feel free to ask questions. I'll do my best to answer them as we go along, but we'll definitely save some time at the end as well. If there's something that we're not able to get to today, we'll be able to follow up after the session ends. Now, I had a couple of questions for all of you. Speaking of asking questions here, I'm going to go ahead and throw two polls up on our screen here. We're going to go ahead and launch the first one here. You should see it on your screen here. So go ahead and vote here. Go ahead and vote. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for voting. Glad to see who's who here. And one more question for you. Since we're going to be talking about the customer experience that we're providing, curious to see how you folks feel about the customer experience you currently provide. And you'll see that you can select one or more of the following. So go ahead and give that some attention. And for those of you just joining, go ahead and take a look at the poll on your screen here. All right, thank you to everyone who has voted. I'm going to go ahead and close this poll. That information is very helpful just for us to be able to see that. So I'm going to get our presentation back up on the screen here. All right. So thank you again for that information and also for joining the webinar in general. And we'll be talking about some of the best practices on how to create an exceptional customer experience in the field. The tips and techniques that I'll be showing you today come from our own experience, particularly those experiences of ServiceTitan's founders, Ara and Vahe. This is actually a picture of them with their dads who have been in home services businesses for many decades. And really, ServiceTitan came about because Ara and Vahe saw their dads wake up at the crack of dawn to go out in the field and help customers every day. And when their dads asked them to help find a software to manage their growing businesses, Ara and Vahe couldn't find anything. So what did they decide to do? They decided to build it themselves. But what started as a passion project to help Ara and Vahe's dads didn't stop there. It actually grew into over 1,000 home services companies that now run their businesses on ServiceTitan. Personally worked with many of these companies, and hello to some of our current customers who I've met before. And it's been so rewarding not only to see revenue grow, but also to watch business owners have the capacity and data to take their operations and customer service practices to the next level. Now, of course, this is going to trickle down to every single person at the company, right? We're looking at every CSR, every accountant, every technician in the field. We're enhancing the experience across the board. And I just wanted to say also that I'm really proud of all of the growth that these companies have achieved with ServiceTitan. Now, of course, to support our growing customers, we need to have a solid team within ServiceTitan. My coworkers and I come from different backgrounds, but we're all united in our efforts to help contractors succeed. And when I joined ServiceTitan over a year and a half ago, we had far fewer people. And I'm actually talking to you now from the 4th office that I've worked from as a ServiceTitan employee, since we keep outgrowing our offices. All of us here at ServiceTitan are extremely committed to providing an exceptional customer experience to you, to the business owners, the office managers, and the technicians. Now I'd like to show you how you can do the exact same thing for your customers. In thinking of some of the most outstanding customer experiences, we found that there are a few key characteristics that hold true no matter where you are. Whether on a service call, at a fine dining restaurant, or even at the happiest place on earth, an exceptional experience is seamless, communicative, and educational. The most important thing to remember is that each person in the company has a distinct and important role in creating exceptional customer experiences. I'll be sure to touch on each of the following roles. For business owners, I'll show you how to access high-level numbers so that you're always in the loop. For service managers, we'll explore actionable data that can help you coach your team to achieve greater things. And for office staff, I'll show you how to set the technicians in the field up for success each and every time. Now, for technicians, we'll show you the tools that will allow you to tie it all together, make the sale, and create raving fans. And as I was getting this webinar prepared, I was reminded of one of the best customer experiences I've ever witnessed, Disneyland. And since I'm from Los Angeles, I've been to Disneyland a bunch, and I've actually been backstage multiple times. I recently performed there in December as part of a large choir, and I was really reminded of how amazing their operations are. There was an organized seating chart for the 700 performers. There were plenty of snacks, and there were even multiple people who made sure that there were no wardrobe malfunctions on stage. Nothing was out of place. No one got lost. And most importantly, the average Disneyland patron likely had no idea any of this was happening behind the scenes. Instead, they had the luxury of focusing on the beautiful music and show. ServiceTitan acts in a similar way. All of the work behind the scenes to get the right technician to the right job should vanish into the background as your tech shines and creates a stellar experience for your customer. Now, of course, the idea here is that if you provide a great customer experience, your customers will be proud to refer you to friends and family. Your customers will feel comfortable and will trust your technicians, allowing the tech to accurately troubleshoot and recommend premium replacement options. So what are some best practices we can implement today to make sure our customer experience in the field is top-notch? Well, this is something we've built our whole company on. Our referrals here at ServiceTitan are our marketing department. I mentioned earlier how quickly we've grown. This is the result of our customers sharing their own experiences. We've seen firsthand the power of strong customer referrals and a strong customer experience. Now, before I jump in and show you how to create a seamless, communicative, and educational experience for your customers, I'd like to make a quick note about our Mobile 2.0 app. So this is the technician view of our new Mobile 2.0 app, which will be launching soon. Mobile 2.0 is the next version of our native application for technicians in the field. There are some features in Mobile 2.0 that aren't available just yet, but we're really excited to give you a sneak peek into those features now. I'll make sure to note those features out loud. All right, let's get started. First, we're going to talk about how we can make the customer experience more seamless. By understanding a customer's problem up front, the technician is able to speak to that problem repeatedly. This helps the customer feel like progress is being made toward a resolution of their problem. Now, we all know that it's important to discover the root cause of a problem, but how do we do that? Well, Taiichi Ohno, the creator of the Toyota production system, invented a philosophy called the 5 whys. The idea here is that by asking why 5 times, you'll discover the root of the problem. And at the root of every seemingly technical problem is often a human problem. Solving the human problem and the technical one can be a tall order, but it's very important. Let's take a look at this example on the screen. Your car won't start. That's your first problem. So you start asking, well, why wouldn't the car start? The battery was dead. Well, why was the battery dead? The battery didn't charge. Well, okay, why didn't the battery charge? The belt was slipping. Why was the belt slipping? Well, it was worn. And why was the belt worn? Well, no one knew how to change the belt. That is a training problem, not a dead battery problem. And if this procedure hadn't been carried through, well, I might have just replaced my car battery unnecessarily. In that case, the problem would certainly recur. The real cause of the problem is often hidden behind more obvious symptoms. Now, let's look at an example of how you can record the root problem in ServiceTitan. Don't forget, an excellent experience in the field doesn't start in the field. We're able to capture relevant information in the job summary field. Now, as a technician, why are you going to the customer's property? Why are you really going? Knowing the why will be absolutely essential to your success. Here, we can read about Carolyn's utility bills, the bottom of the screen there. The real pain point here is that Carolyn's bills are too expensive. That is why she called. It's essential to drill down this far. And this job summary is a really well-written one. The customer will not need to repeat herself. And the technician can be sure to speak directly to the real problem, building value. Talking about fixing Carolyn's air conditioner won't resonate nearly as well as talking about saving Carolyn money by making her utility bills lower. Remember, Carolyn called because her bills are too expensive. Use that to your advantage. Let's look at another example of how we make sure your technicians are set up to deliver a seamless customer experience. Keeping with our goal of not requiring the customer to repeat themselves, tags are really, really important. Tags will allow us to keep important notes about a customer so your technicians know the customer even before entering their home. Some examples of tags that could be useful are listed here. Consider noting language needs, parking availability, building characteristics, financing pre-qualifications, a reschedule history, or anything else that you think will be helpful. It's knowing the little things that make you the trusted partner for your customers. And the same way that you don't want your customers to repeat themselves, you also want the technician to have all the knowledge that the entire company has about this customer and this location. Previous work history, past recommendations, and past notes will allow your technician to represent the entire company well. Act as a team. You ultimately want your customer to say, I'm dealing with a business that understands me and knows my house. And if you are out in the field as a technician, you'll see on the right-hand side that you're able to click into the call recording and see those recommended quotes as well. So you see we have 3 quotes that have been recommended. Always something good to refer back to. I'd like to show you now the first Mobile 2.0 feature, being able to connect with your customers through various channels, including text. Now, I know this is something that a lot of you have asked for, and I think that you're really going to like this. The key idea here is to give you a seamless way to connect with your customers, and text is one of the fastest and easiest ways to reach any consumer. Similar to ordering a pizza from Domino's, soon homeowners can text you to ask for plumbing services, and you can reply with help. This makes the customer experience extremely easy and seamless. Another main component of an exceptional customer experience is that it's educational. The Forms feature encourages interactivity for 2 reasons. Number 1, it motivates the technician to move throughout the property and do a thorough inspection. And number 2, Forms can then be used to educate the customer with actual facts about their home. Let's focus on how we can use completed forms to educate the customer. In this example, the technician can call specific attention to what needs to be addressed. For example, the drain pan is fine here, denoted with a green label, while the water safety shutoff valve has an issue denoted by a red label. Technicians are empowered to present an organized summary of their findings, and they can elaborate further on any problem areas. Such a form will also help your technicians follow the best practices you've set. For example, every maintenance visit will be conducted in a similar manner, allowing your customers to relax and expect a routine. By the way, this is also a great way to do quality control on new installations and to teach and show the customer what a great job you've done. Be sure to create custom forms for different use cases. You'll be using this data to inform the creation of your estimates. Now, once the inspection is completed, it's going to be time to hop over to the visual price book. The pictures and videos available in the price book are tools that technicians can use to explain how parts function, especially when they're out of sight. An example would be a pipe that lives under the house. When explaining the need to run a sewer camera through the pipes, some sample footage of what the technician is looking for can help explain the purpose of the service to the customer. Now, I'd like to tell you about a time when such a feature might have come in handy. A friend of mine recently had some plumbing work done while his wife was at work. When his wife came home, my friend told her about all the work that had been done. He had spent about $4,000, and his wife asked, well, can I see what they did? And he said, well, honey, it's under the house. Are you going to crawl down there? So you can imagine how valuable pictures, similar to the ones you see here, might have been, especially if emailed to the customer automatically. Now, when we go and talk about a strong sales presentation, our goal is really to help the technician be more organized. One way we can do that is set up recommendations for the technician to upsell and cross-sell. For example, in California, when someone's selling a water heater, they should absolutely offer an earthquake strap to the customer. Remember, as a technician, you're the expert. By the time the technician has gotten to this point, the point of creating recommendations, your entire team has worked really hard to build that technician's credibility. Be sure to use that to your advantage. The last characteristic of an exceptional customer experience is that it is communicative. How you communicate goals and expectations internally is extremely important in delivering an exceptional customer experience. Now, whether you have 5 technicians or 85 technicians, it can be challenging to keep everyone informed of each technician's performance. The good news is that ServiceTitan has built in some features to help everyone stay in the loop and also motivate each other and themselves. We are looking to help you inspire better behavior and create lasting habits. At ServiceTitan, we talk a lot about the Hawthorne effect. Now, the idea here is that individuals will modify or improve an aspect of their behavior in response to their awareness of being observed. For this reason, it's important that both service managers and technicians keep an eye on the powerful dashboards that are designed to track and boost technician performance. The Hawthorne effect really comes into play here since technicians can track their performance against their own goals or even against the performance of their peers. And ultimately, this is a new platform for training. Managers can set goals for technicians who can see their progress daily. In addition to the dashboard, the technicians will have an entire library of content available for training purposes. Even with a couple minutes of downtime, the technician can watch a quick video. This is also a platform for business owners to send content to individual technicians or even to the entire company. I'd like to show you another brand new feature. This is something that we've actually had for a while, but we've redone it and made it a lot better. You're looking at a dispatch bio that goes out to customers immediately after a job is dispatched. Now, this dispatch bio is actually one that is created by ReviewBuzz, which is a new integration that we have, and you'll see that you're able to include the technician's name, experience, and even some of his personal hobbies to provide a more human touch. The enhancement here is really through ReviewBuzz. So now customers can see that Billy has 5 stars and 347 reviews, which will give them peace of mind about a stranger entering their home. Sending out the dispatch bio in a timely manner is a big step in being communicative. one more sneak peek feature for you. When the technician sends the dispatch bio, he or she can include the anticipated arrival time to let customers know help is on the way. On the back end, the technician has the option to select how long it will take for them to arrive at the home. For example, if there's some traffic on the way, or maybe the technician needs to eat lunch, they can choose an estimated arrival time that's more accurate to their schedule. Now, think back to our Disneyland example. Showtimes, breaks, and what to expect are all communicated well. From the dispatch bio all the way to the technician's arrival, all of these features come together to help you be more communicative to your customers. Being transparent is another way to be communicative. When presenting solutions to your customer, be sure to show them all possible options. This puts the choice in your customer's hand and helps you build trust with them to guide your customer in making the best decision for them. Here's a screenshot of what our estimates will look like. Professional presentations allow every technician to sell. You'll be able to present options side by side with key features and benefits. Don't forget that as your technicians present to the customer, they should be touching upon the root of the problem, the deepest why. Now, of course, we want to be sure that communication goes both ways. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that customer reviews are extremely important, but how do you drive the best reviews to build up your brand? Well, it turns out that the amount of time between when a service is completed and when you ask for reviews is extremely important. If there's any lag time, happy customers drop off and forget about it because other things have come up, and angry customers are just waiting for your request to leave an upset review. A new feature we have will help you deliver review requests through text, so you're able to ask for reviews immediately after a service is completed. Now you can reach your customers when your exceptional service is top of mind. Through this, you're also able to boost your brand. Additional internal communication and coordination will help you be more communicative to your customers. Being able to easily access past estimates, pinned notes, and call recordings from the field is another way ServiceTitan helps you keep everyone on the same page. Research has shown that the more involved a customer is in an interaction, the more satisfied they are. We see this all the time. Consider this example. Think for a moment about what your role is when dining at a restaurant. You need to do a few things. You need to order your food, you need to pay for it, and those are just the minimum things. Ideally, you'd eat the food. Well, at the restaurant, you'd be more satisfied if you order your own food the way you like it. It's the same exact thing in service interactions. If the customer is involved in the decision-making process, it's proven that they will be more satisfied, perceive higher quality of work, be less sensitive to the price, and ultimately be more loyal. With that in mind, how can we make the customer as involved as possible in the service interaction? Well, starting with the customer call, you define the customer's role in your interaction. This is when you'll clarify any policies, remind them of any trip charges you have, and make sure that they've done everything possible to prepare for your technician's visit. There are a few questions that you'll want to be sure to answer as you think about what you want to communicate to your customers and define their role. Are you setting them up for success? How can they be more involved? Being more communicative in ways such as this will also help make your customer experience more seamless. And that's really it. All three of these characteristics work together to create the most exceptional customer experience. Now, because I'm a member of our training team, I do want to be sure that all of our current customers know about our training resources that we designed to make sure that you're successful, and some of these are new as well. We have live webinars daily on some of the most important topics in ServiceTitan. Also, be sure to check out our self-paced modules so that you can practice on your own time. Wanted to also say thank you again for joining us this morning, and if you have any questions or would like to see a demo of ServiceTitan, you can send those requests over to our email address that's listed here, the webinars@servicetitan.com. I'm going to pause for a moment and review some of the questions that have come in. There have been a couple people who have been asking some questions, some great ones. So I'm going to take a look at these and we'll see if we can get some of those answered. And if you haven't sent in your questions yet, now is the perfect time to go ahead and send those in. So give me 1 second to look at these and we'll get some of these questions answered. So the first question that I'm sure many of you are wondering is what the release date is for Mobile 2.0. So our goal for the release is by the end of the first quarter of 2016. So looking at having that out by the end of March. That's our target date right now for the release. Another question that came in just now is, are text messages sent by technicians recorded anywhere in ServiceTitan? And the answer is yes. So there are actually a couple places you're able to see that. Now, if you're in the office and you're texting back and forth, you can actually have all of the text show up on your dispatch board, so you can have those accessible. But as far as the archiving, you'll actually be able to see them on the job page. So one of my favorite things about ServiceTitan is actually the audit trail that's built into every single job. So every time anything happens, anytime a call comes in, a text message, a form is completed, a technician adds a material to a job, anything that happens, it's all timestamped and recorded so that you're able to keep up with all of the happenings in your jobs without needing to bug your technicians the entire time. Hey, are you done? Are you done? What are you doing? What are you doing? No one needs that because we have ServiceTitan audit trails. One other question that came in that I think is a really great one is, can you make an inspection form mandatory? So we talked about those forms and creating them in a way that is going to encourage your technicians to take a full tour of the house and really educate the customer. And the answer is yes, you can absolutely make the form mandatory. There are actually 3 points within ServiceTitan that you're able to have what's called a trigger pop up and require that form to be completed. You can have it pop up right when the technician arrives. You can have it pop up when the technician goes to create the invoice, or you could have it pop up when the technician completes the job. Now, the trigger, the pop-up, within that, you can choose whether or not it's just a reminder or whether the form must be completed in order to proceed. And we even take it a step further. You're also able to go in and set specific questions to be mandatory or optional. So maybe it's a mandatory form, but some questions might not apply. You can go at a question by question level in order to really make sure that your technicians are following the procedure, but not bogged down by questions that they might not be able to answer. All right, we're going to take a look at a couple more questions here. There's one more question that we'll answer today, and the question is, how do I get my visual price book to look like that? And within ServiceTitan, you're actually able to apply pictures and videos to individual items in your price book. And one thing that some people might not know is that you can actually apply a default picture across a category. So especially for those of you who might be newer to ServiceTitan or who have a lot of tasks in your price book, and it can take a little bit of time to go through them one by one to find the perfect picture, you can add in even your logo or a slightly more generic picture and then go through and replace that default image one by one as you go in to add the specific images. So for those of you who are already on ServiceTitan, you're able to do that in your price book. You'll just go to Services and scroll down a little bit to add an image or even link to a YouTube video. Now, I know there are a couple more questions, and we'll be following up with people after this session concludes to get some of the more intricate questions, answered. So again, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined our session today. And if after we all hop off this call, if you realize, oh, I did have one more question, or if you're not currently a customer and would like to see a demo, again, our email address is on the screen, webinars, plural, @servicetitan.com. You'll also be receiving a survey after this session, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And I hope that you have learned a couple things to help create an even more exceptional customer experience in the field. Thanks again, everyone.